Welcome to episode 27 of dotEXE, a saving content podcast. I am Eric Acosta, your host for today's festivities. With me today, serving up a heaping helping of fun, saving content zone, Ed Acosta.
My name is Coffee, and Hot Fish.
Hot fish.
I spit hot fish.
You spit hot fish.
Actually, it was cold fish.
Oh, right. It was
I
goldfish.
messed that up.
So, yeah, we were beginning before the whole podcast started. We just had a little ramble about hot fish, which started with cold fish and then went to spit hot fish.
Yes. Yes. Well, okay. We're going to explain the joke because that's the best way to tell jokes is to explain
Right. Yes,
them.
exactly. If you have to explain a joke, that means that it's the best primo joke.
So I was up visiting Eric for the weekend, and on my way back home today, I stopped by Long John Silver's because I don't have any down by me anymore. So I got some fish, and that's pretty much what I ate on my 4-hour drive back down here.
Fish.
And yes, fish, delicious fish. Actually, it was actually 4 pieces of fish, 4 pieces of chicken.
I mean,
So
delicious fish can be, that is subjective. I was never a fan of Long John Silver's.
Oh, I love it. But they could really bread anything in that batter, and I think I would eat it. It is delish.
Mm.
But to go back to
Agree to disagree.
our to go back to our joke, I had also gotten some coffee from Sheets, which for people down in my area here have no idea what that is
I
because
was
they
gonna say
don't have a
Sheets down there, do they?
The closest we got is Wawa, and we got like of Royal Farms down here.
Okay.
So that's all these people in this area know about. Usually I see more people go to like a Wawa or 7-Eleven.
Okay.
No, but you want a nice made-to-order sandwich that's not Wawa, you go to Sheets. And I figured I'm going to get a coffee since I got the fish. So drank my coffee, still have some left. It's cold now. And then I have a piece of fish left, and it is also cold. So right as we got to start, you know what? I might include that in this part right here. Got my coffee, my cold coffee. Got my cold fish.
coffee, goldfish.
It's my new
Dylan.
Dylan. You spit hot fish.
Fish. I don't even know what that would be.
Right?
What would that look like? Flaming balls of fish. Beep, 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 beep. You just spit, and then it's like the minnow comes out. It's like on fire.
A little sardine.
And it's got to make that noise.
It comes out like a little bullet like that. Just, and he's surrounded by little flames.
No, it's got to be like the Hadouken flame, right? That like is like
Yeah.
big at the end and then tails off at the back.
Exactly. If Ryu shot a fish, that's what it would look like.
The Hadouken fish.
Ryu spits hot fish.
He spits hot fish. We funny.
We are funny.
We are funny.
Okay, back to us. That's going to be real funny when I don't put it in there.
It's gonna be better when it's just blank.
Oh, man. Well, because I was up there this weekend, I haven't really been playing much other than the 2 things that I'm bringing to the table today. Has there been anything you've played while other than what we've been playing?
So Sky Bees, I'll talk about that since,
Sure,
Yeah.
that we've definitely been playing that.
we've been playing a lot of Sky Bees because I don't know, that it's fun. It's almost chore like,
Almost.
but not enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm done playing it. You know what I mean? Like feel like it's a chore, like the Destiny thing was. But yeah, it's just making the bees, breeding the bees and like automating. I think I've realized that is my thing with Minecraft is I like the automation.
Yeah, I mean that really kind of what's the best way to put it? That really kind of tickles your fancy.
Yeah, yeah. Because I realized when I'm not doing that, or like the storage stuff, I don't know what to do. I don't have like a goal, or I don't have anything that's focusing me to do something. So I end up running around, literally running around in circles, just to trying to find something to do. Like it's going to help me be like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Just run in the circle. I'll figure it out.
So like the things that really do it for me in these Minecraft mods, it really is like twofold. One, there's got to be a long progression of just stuff to do, and two, it's got to reward me for doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So like in some of these mods, there's the what does Minecraft call them? Accomplishments or something?
Is it accomplishments?
They're not achievements.
It starts with an A, and maybe it is accomplishments.
But those are fine, but they're not like there's just something about them. I don't get the same satisfaction as like an achievement ding or a trophy ding, or in the case of like Sky Bees and some of the other like chicken block and things like that, the notification that, hey, you've gotten this, go collect your reward.
Yeah. And actually, Des walked by and was like, it's advancements.
Advancements, yes. Thank you, Des. So the funny thing though about that is that Skybees does all that with the like little trophy toasts.
Right.
But it doesn't actually reward you for anything.
Right. It doesn't. Well, okay.
But I still get the same I'm actually doing something.
Right. So it doesn't reward you with like an item. What a lot of times it does is if you finish that section, it rewards you with opening another section to do.
Which is perfect.
Which is fine. I think that's a good enough reward in my mind. It gives me something else to work into. So,
oh yeah.
Other than Skybees, I have been playing one other game which I got from GameFly.
Uh-huh. This game, yes.
Yeah.
I was sitting there watching you play this one.
Yeah. I played it for a day. That is how amazing this game was.
Lasted longer than I would.
Well, I think some of it was just because I was like, I really wanted it to do good. I played Bassmaster Fishing 2022. Now
everybody's tuning in right now.
Right now, they're like, "Oh, that's the game, man." I preface this with, I like fishing, and I do like fishing games, but I've yet to find, and you'll remember this. But
if you're gonna say trophy bass,
that's exactly what I was gonna say. I've yet to find a game that was as fun as Trophy Bass.
Yeah, that's probably the best fishing game that I can have clear memory of enjoying to play, other than like fishing mini games in certain games.
Right, that's different. Like the mini game in Red Dead, the fishing mini game in Red Dead, primo, love it. But I would not be okay with a whole game of just that, because there's not enough to it. Now, I would love a Red Dead fishing and hunting game, like mini game setup, and like all I'm doing is fishing and hunting and selling and making stuff from like the hide and bone and stuff like that to sell. Like I'd be okay with that as like a side game. I find that's I think that would be enough.
Well, speak on this Bassmaster Fishing 2022.
So inherently there's nothing really wrong with it, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think it lives in that middle ground of it looks pretty, but not all of it looks pretty. So like the water looks really great. Like
Yeah,
realistically, like
I
it does look very good.
so the thing I'm gonna make a comparison here to is I think that game I didn't take a look and see what engine it was running, but it looked like it was using just like the stock stuff out of like Unreal. And I'm thinking the water physics is straight out of the Unreal Engine.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Uh, and that's the thing is like the water looks really good, and the character models are okay. They're not great, but they're not horrible. Like I could justify it because it's a fishing game, not a human. Like you're not really focusing on the human, more as you're focusing on the fish, right?
Mhm.
But what really let me down is the fish don't look good. So it's like, oh, okay. This looks like you just kind of went on to Google and was like, here's a image of a bass, left, side, top, and front. Paste it on the wireframe. We're good. Like it just
Right.
doesn't look. It looks like everything's stretched over stuff. Um, and the gameplay is not great. It's pretty like simplistic, even on the harder difficulty, where like not difficulty, the harder casting difficulty. They have two different ones. One's basically button press and then you cast it, and the other one is like Mario Golf style. Press it and then stop or hold it and then like release at the right time to have your distance. But that's about it. Like there's not a whole lot of like nuance to that. So you either go a short throw, medium throw, or long throw, and then you then hold the trigger for how long you want to, how far of that short, medium, or long you want to throw it.
Uh-huh.
So it's not really as accurate as they make it out to be. um, and then when the it's in the water, the camera goes to the lure in the water, and the times that I got strikes, it almost felt like the fish was off screen and then on the hook. Like I never really saw a lead up to where they came in. And I get fish can, you know, hit the hook, hit your line hard, your lure hard, but you still would see the fish. Like it'll just pop into frame.
Well, in a gameplay aspect, if you're going to be moving the camera under the water where normally you wouldn't be able to see, then you got to break some immersion. Well, not immersion, but you got to break some of the um, simulation aspect of it and move the camera around.
Yeah.
If the game knows a fish is coming to bite, move the camera towards that fish or something so that you can see it coming. I mean, you are obviously breaking the simulation aspect by moving the camera under the water
Just
anyway.
by putting
So,
camera angle to the underwater. So why not let me spin the camera around, which it didn't let me do.
yeah,
And it
exactly.
and it doesn't like when the fish is coming into it, it doesn't like quick snap. Like I'd even be okay if it was just like, a 2-ish second quick snap to see the fish and then it takes it. But it was just like out of nowhere and it almost felt like the fish just popped in.
And that's no good.
Yeah, because then, you don't really know if you're doing the lure right. Like, you've got crankbaits and you got surface baits and spinners and all this stuff. And like, it has a reel meter where and that was another thing that was weird. Most fishing games do with the reel where you're spinning the joystick.
Right.
And I get that that's kind of all right, I get it. But it's not really fun. I mean, it's not detractive, but it's not really fun. But this was literally just a button, like a trigger, and I was like, "Yeah, I'd rather have the joystick."
So I'm going to offer up a suggestion for you.
Not play this game again.
Yes, that's suggestion number one. Send it back as soon as possible.
Oh, it's already sent back. It was gone. It was gone the day I got it.
Number two, there is Ultimate Fishing Simulator on Steam.
Yes.
And right now it is at 85% off. So you can get it for $2.99, or you can get the gold version with all the DLC for $13.
I thought that was free, Ultimate Fishing Simulator.
So that one is not, apparently. It is $2.99. They also have a Ultimate Fishing Simulator 2, which is in early access. Although the reviews on that one don't look so hot.
Oh, I know what I'm thinking of. There's another game. It was on it's on PS4, PS5, Planet's Fishing Planet. That's the free to play one.
Well, this one, it's got some positive reviews. Yeah, if you really want to get into some fishing, maybe give this one a check.
So
and see if it's up your alley. I mean, for how cheap it is.
Yeah.
You know.
So I was actually all right. I'm gonna throw my country bumpkin out here, right?
Yeah.
Not even last year. Early this year, maybe last year. I was looking for games, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't played in a while? A fishing game. So I went out. Well, I went out. I went on Steam and areas, and I was looking for fishing games, and I broke it down to Ultimate Fishing Simulator and Fishing Planet, and there was another one. Oh, Call of the Wild.
Oh, the hunting
one, right? So Call of the Wild, the Angler. So what I was looking up was ones that Ultimate Fishing Simulator and Fishing Planet were out at that time. And then I was reading, I was like, oh, well, wait a minute. Ultimate Fishing Simulator 2's coming out later, and supposedly Call of the Wild, the Angler, is supposed to be coming out later this year. This was like, the beginning of the year. So I was like, do I just wait? Because these two look like the Ultimate Fishing and the Fishing Planet looked okay. And the Ultimate Fishing Simulator I was thinking about, but like, I was like, maybe I should just wait until the 2 came out or the Call of the Wild came out. And then I was like, you know what? Actually, I haven't played a hunting game. So what ended up happening was I didn't buy a fishing game. I bought a hunting game, which was Call of the Wild.
Doesn't Call of the Wild, doesn't that have some sort of pedigree to it? Like, it's from developers who made something like really well known.
I don't see developers Expansive Worlds. I mean, I know they made Call of the Wild, which was a very popular. The Hunter Call of the Wild is a very popular game. There's a crap ton of DLC, and people really like it. And it really is a good game. I just found out that I don't like the simulation hunting as much as I do the deer hunter hunting. Where it's like simulation but not simulation.
Okay. So, this is Expansive World is an Avalanche Studios development house.
Okay.
It's not Avalanche Studios directly, but it's kind of like a splinter group within them or something, according to this. These are the guys who made Mad Max, the 2015 Mad Max, and Just Cause.
Okay.
So that's where that came from. It's like, oh.
That might be why it's... Because I played a little bit of the Hunter, Call of the Wild. And the game itself, honestly, is very good. It allows you to do a lot more things than I thought it would. Because there's a lot of open worldness to it. You can put traps kind of anywhere. So it felt very open. Like I didn't feel like I was wrangled into a certain spot. You know what I mean? You could kind of put your hunting stand, your tree stand. I mean, almost any tree, and you could put like hunting blind kind of wherever. So I felt very open. But I think in that case, I'm not as big of a fan of like that simulation world because it's too much. Because I can say I played Call of the Wild for 8 hours that day. 6 to 8 hours maybe. And I did not see a single deer.
That's too simulation.
That's too simulation. Like I know that feeling. But that's also real life. I was not into that.
Right. So it's like you kind of got to throw a bone a little bit because
Yeah.
you know, Gran Turismo, Forza, they are simulators, but not like fully simulators.
Right.
They still have to be designed for gameplay.
Right. They get you, it's a simulator in how things act and react, but they still get you into what is exciting about the subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a good hunting or fishing game should ideally do that as well. They got to toe that line between, well, it's got to be actual gameplay, but yet feel like you're really doing it.
Yeah. I get it. You know, I understand it because you,
Right.
it's a good way to do that thing that you love to do without, actually doing it when you can't. And the big thing that I was really into that it does keep, it's one reason why I have not completely deleted it from my computer, is there's like a whole like lodge that you can like stuff your trophies and put them up, and then like you've got like not like kind of like quests, but more like achievements that you can do. Like, and then you get the biggest, the largest buck or the biggest bear or something like that. Biggest beer. But yeah, so there is that, like there's this like home that you can decorate, on top of it being a hunting game.
Right.
The one thing I did dislike, because I went into like there's like a shooting practice or shooting gallery, or no, it was like a tutorial, I think, where like, you shows you how to kill the deer or to kill the animals and like where to shoot them and stuff. So I did get that little aspect, but it was weird because like I shot it in the heart, but it didn't say I shot it in the heart. It was odd, how it worked, because like I shot it in the front, right between the I guess you could call front, the chest, with like right where it would go to the heart, and it said it shot it from the side, so I was like, oh, that's not right.
Now, you shot it through the heart. Were you to blame?
Yes, I gave love a bad name.
Thank you.
We're so bad.
We so
We're
funny.
still funny, as proof of the beginning opening firefish.
Right.
Right.
I spit hot fish.
Spit hot fish.
And I'll replay that right now. I'm actually not going to replay that right now, but there's a nice awkward pause.
Yeah, but that's funny. Other than that, I haven't been really playing any games. Aside from the Skybees. But one that I saw is that if you have Amazon Prime, you can get the Starcraft remaster, the original Starcraft game remastered.
Yes.
Which I'm all for, because truthfully, I've never beaten the original game or StarCraft 2 without cheats, just because it's more fun to have like, unlimited money. It just like wreck everything. So I've never beaten it without cheating. So that's one of those games in my mind, I've never completed. So I do need to go. I think I want to go back to that. And now that there's a remaster, I think I'll go back to that and actually play it the right way. But on top of that, there's also a StarCraft cartoon like skin.
You were showing me this, and this is neat in that I think if I redeemed the remaster on Amazon Prime also, but I think if I were to go and replay StarCraft, I would purchase this mod and to do so.
Yeah, it's so weird because it like feels like it's a mod, but you can play. It's like a game, but it's just the StarCraft game, just done in a more cartoony version, and it does include the story, the single player campaign.
Yeah, and you said you were reading it. It's like a, I guess you'd say, modified version of the story to fit its art style.
Yeah, it said it had some differences. I didn't know what that meant, but it story had some differences to fit the art style because it's that like tongue in cheek kind of like Among Us feel.
Yeah, it's very chibi-esque.
Yeah.
In its art style, where yeah, the the Marines are looking pretty Among Us. The Protoss are looking like giant bananas.
Or a thumb with arms.
A thumb. Yeah. They're more Fall Guys than they are Among Us guys.
And like the Zerglings were like a trapinch, or is it trapinch?
A tripinch.
Trapinch,
Yeah, sure.
from like Pokemon.
The yep. Just little monster blobs.
Like basically a mouth and eyes with little legs.
Nom 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 nom.
It was cute and funny, and like I think it looked like the comedy was of that same ilk of like just little teeny dorky nods to things like, I don't know how many people know the original Starcraft opening, but it's that Marine that runs out of ammo shooting the Zergling, and then a rocket comes over, blows up the Zergling, and it's this dude chilling on the side in a Marine's outfit. A Marine, and the other Marine is like, "Hey, who's in charge?" And he just kind of like he points up, like in the
yeah, and there's a battle cruiser up there.
yeah, and it's all like serious, like that guy up there. Well, in this cartoon version, it's like, huh? And he like points up like real quick. It's like, what? Looks up. So it's got that like just like take the real serious part of this and make it not.
Yeah, I mean it looks like a fun way to revisit this game.
Yeah. And from what I see, it seems like it's only $10, I believe, on Blizzard or Battle.net. And
yeah, and if getting game free from Prime, why not spend the $10?
Yes. Yeah, it's I think it's worth it. And I always like playing the game. I showed it to Genevieve, who is not a StarCraft player, and she saw it and was like, "Oh, that's cute." And she did seem a little interested, but I'm not sure if the type of game is what she's after.
Yeah, I could see her being into the base building part, but not the, sending troops out to go attack things.
Yeah. But it's got cute animals.
Sure.
What, you don't think a Zergling's cute?
No.
No.
I will disagree with you there.
Other than that, the only other thing is today, like very literally today, I got a new phone.
Brand new phone.
New phone.
New phone. Who dis?
Boop. So the reason for the new phone was because I have a 4-year-old daughter who I let play with my phone once, and I will never make that mistake again because she dropped it on a concrete floor and it cracked the screen.
Mom.
Right. Well, and I had it in a case, which was a flip case, mind you, but she was holding it in landscape with the fold at the bottom. So when it flipped forward out of her hand. So the momentum did not allow the case to close, which every other time, it would have fallen, it would have closed. In this case, it was the other way and it didn't close. So then right in the concrete, cracked it. So I was okay. I mean, I'm upset about it, but I was okay just dealing with it until I really had to get a new phone. But Des was like, "Well, you don't ever get stuff for yourself." So she forced me to get my phone. I say force. I mean, she didn't twist my arm. She basically said we should get new phones. I was like, "I really don't need it." And she's like, "Yes, you do." I'm like, "Okay, fine."
You had the suggestion, whereas if it were just you, be like, maybe.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. I would have, if it was just me, I would have been, "Do I need it?" And then I would have been like, "I don't need it. I want it." Okay, well, fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So I went from a S21 Ultra to the S22 Ultra.
Nice.
I mean, basically the same phone, just I think it has more RAM, a slightly better processor. Think it's a little wider. But other than that, it's essentially the same phone. for what I use it for. Let's put it that way. For what I use it for. I know that the camera and video stuff is better upgraded and stuff like that, and the software through that. But I don't use it for any of that. But I got it, and it was the first time any of my phone upgrades for my from one phone to another has been an easy transition.
Mm-hmm.
Like every other one I've had, like my Pixel to my Sony to my Razr to my Samsung, it's always been a bear and be like, okay, all I wanted to do was transfer these contacts to this phone. And I've got half of the contacts, and now it's trying to sync online. I never synced it to my Google because I didn't want to. I just wanted to manually transfer. Won't let me do it. Or like the last phone I did, my Razr to my S21, they have the whole transfer. Verizon has their own transfer thing.
Uh-huh.
And it connected, both phones connected, but both phones just sat there waiting, saying, what was it called?
Like a sync?
No, they connected, but they were the old phone was trying to see how much, that's what it was. It was trying to see how much data was on the phone to display how much was going to transfer. So my new phone was like waiting. My old phone, Razr, was like, yeah, hang on. I'm trying to figure out how much data we're going to transfer. And it never picked up. I was like, okay. And then I hardwired it. It wouldn't register a hardwire. I had to do it through Wi-Fi. So finally, I just went, screw this, and I plugged it to my computer, downloaded the contacts information and any pictures and all that stuff, and then plugged in my Samsung and downloaded it to that.
Okay.
Used my computer as a middle hard drive.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing it that way.
I mean, that's why I get Android, because I can do it that way if I need to. I mean,
now, granted, I can do that on an iPhone too. You have to have iTunes,
and you have to sync it.
But you just do a backup.
Yeah, but
you don't technically have to sync it. You just do a backup to that computer. You could also back up to the iCloud, whatever. And then once you get the new iPhone, whatever new iPhone you're buying, it'll just transfer everything over.
Yeah, but there's that extra step of like the backing up. It doesn't sense the iPhone as well. I can't say it doesn't. It may not sense the iPhone as a drive like a drive that you can pull information off of.
I mean, well, I guess it depends on what you're. Okay, so if you plug in the iPhone into a computer without iTunes on it, it'll prompt a message saying, "Hey, do you trust this computer?" You say yes. Then you can access like your pictures.
Yes.
So you can just transfer all of those without iTunes or anything.
Right.
Just as if it were a file folder.
Right.
But any of the phone related items.
Contacts and all that jazz, yeah.
Yeah. That's just baked into, the software. So you would just do a backup.
Right. But see, like with an Android, I literally plug it in and it goes, is this external hard drive? Or like it act like a USB drive or storage drive, mass storage drive. And I say yes, and it's all there. I don't have to sync. I don't got to deal with any other phone crap. It's literally contacts, notifications, photos, all that jazz.
Okay. What you're complaining about is verbiage.
No, it's not verbiage.
Okay. It is, because so basically what you're doing is you open up the file structure for the phone. Mm-hmm. Copy all, paste all, right?
Yes, that essentially. I mean, it's not what I did, but yes, yeah. In what we're talking about, yes, it's just copy and paste.
Okay, iTunes is doing the exact same thing with the Apple phone,
right?
Except it's just it's obviously writing in its own
its own
file
language format. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's literally taking what's on your phone, copy it over to your computer.
Yes.
That way you have a backup.
Yes.
And then when you have your new phone, you plug it in, you restore, and it moves everything back over, just as if you were to copy and then paste onto the new phone.
Right.
So it is quite literally the exact same thing, other than the verbiage and if you want to get into the weeds, Apple is writing it to a specific file and then bringing it back out of that file.
So I guess the difference is that I had both phones plugged into the computer at the same time. So I went in and then out. I didn't save it to my computer.
Now I've never,
I could just go straight to my other phone.
yeah, I've never done it with two iPhones connected together at the same time. So I don't know if that would work at all.
I don't believe it can. I think you have to actually run the contacts and stuff through iTunes and save it and then download it. Or I guess it's not really downloading, but yeah, putting it onto the new one. It has to run through iTunes.
Well,
not iTunes. Is it iTunes?
iTunes,
it is,
yes.
Okay.
That's if you're using it, using your PC as the go-to here.
Yeah.
You can have the iPhones talk to one another through Wi-Fi, through the local
the
near field communication, whatever thing that you can do.
NFC, which that didn't work. That was supposed to work on the Android, the Razer, and
I figured they would have that.
It did, and I would connect it. It started connecting, and then it just did the loading thing. My Razer, I think it was something with the Razer, but my Razer never actually calculated how much stuff was going through or how much it was supposed to, send.
Because when I got my new phone, that's basically the method that we used at the store was just log in on both. And then you do the transfer. Then it says, hey, are you actually transferring? Yes or no? Yes. Sign in on that one just to verify. And then it moves everything over. Depending on how many pictures and everything you have, it could take a while. So I knew beforehand I was going to back up everything.
Yeah.
And I did so on my computer just in case the transfer didn't work out well at the store because I used my phone as a photo album.
Exactly. You never know.
And I have years and years of pictures on my phone.
Well, speaking of that, it's funny, like space, the guy asked, what size of phone I wanted because there's no expandable memory. And I was like, oh, the 128, the lowest one's fine. He's like, oh, well, how much space do you have on your current phone right now? I'm like, 50%. He went, oh, okay. All right, you'll be fine then. Because he's like, I'm just used to asking that question and the people looking on the phone and going, I've got like 100 gigs of my 128 used. He's like, yeah, you're probably going to fill that up.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I got like 64 gigs. And most of that is software app. Like, I download a lot of my photos and videos to my phone after a few months.
Yeah, I actually just need to go through my pictures
and get rid of stuff.
Get rid of stuff that I don't need or like videos that are taking up a lot of space, move those off of it or just delete them because they're usually uploaded somewhere. But I still have, actually, what is mine? Mine is either the lowest or the second lowest for whatever the iPhone is. So general, and we are looking for storage. I have 128. And yeah, so I was recording some videos today. So once I get those deleted, I will have another, probably about another 20 to 30 gigs freed back up. Because right now it's at about 119. But yeah, it's because I'll record videos and, put them up on social media or something.
Right.
So once I'm done, I don't have a need to keep those B-roll files anymore. And I just delete them.
Right. And you also, you do far more video. I use my phone, shocking. I use my phone to call and text. And every once in a while, I will use it for photos and videos. I'm an old geezer at heart. And I use my phone for mainly the purposes of a cell phone.
My phone rarely gets used for calling. It is mostly a texting machine and a Discord machine.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The phones in our pockets are so powerful. Realistically, for what we use them for, like me, I feel like I've got this, super powerful device in my hand that I'm using to, you know, call someone like a freaking tin can on a string. Like technology is just like I'm using this to talk to someone. And I get that this is the whole purpose of a cell phone, but like I'm wasting so much technology here because I'm not using it.
Yeah, but it's all in how you use the device too. So I mean, if you could probably get by with just a not what would you call those feature phones? I guess now I forget. But where it just has internet and makes calls and text.
Right.
But you're not going to get a powerful phone to be able to run things like YouTube or
Right.
to be able to surf the web efficiently. So, the trade off of having all that power in your phone now is that you can actually use the thing basically with without interruption.
Right.
It just works.
Well, and that's the funny thing is like I could certainly live off of just like the old school flip phone that they still have. Like Verizon still has a flip phone, I believe.
I mean, you could technically get the new Samsung what is it,
Z
Flip,
Flip Z.
the Z Flip.
Yeah, I could if I wanted to spend like what was it? This is the good one is like $2,000, and the little teeny one is like
Wait,
1,200 or something.
no, the Fold
Or the
is
fold
the
is
one.
the 2,000, and the flip
Yeah.
is okay. That's what it is.
The Flip is like your old clamshell style.
Yeah, that thing looks
Uh,
garbage too.
but yeah, that should actually be cheaper than the S22.
It's about the same price. I think it was like $100
But-
cheaper.
But, yeah, for what you use it for, that probably would have been all you needed. Plus, you get the nice little clamshell, so you don't have to worry about, a case.
Right. So here's the problem I have there. I also live in my mind the world of tech. So like I like new tech,
Yes.
and I have I guess you could say I have a FOMO for tech. So
As most of us end up eventually having.
Right.
Yes.
so like if I know that there is a better thing of what I'm getting, I want the better thing. Even if I'm never going to use the better thing's specs. When it comes to only when it comes to technology. Like, gaming devices, phones and stuff like that. Computers. So like I'll never, right now I've got a Ryzen 9 in my desktop and a Titan X Pascal card, and I'm playing Minecraft. Like
Right.
I'm certainly not using this computer to its fullest. I've even got an M.2 NVMe drive running the game. All my games are running off of. So like I'm super I want to say overpowered, but like basically
Overcompensating.
Yeah, overcompensating for my Minecraft. I'm not using it to its fullest, but I had to get it because I didn't. I live that world of, but I'm future proofing.
But that Minecraft, it runs smooth.
160 frames, baby. Mind you, I also have a monitor that is doing 150, no, 165, something like that. So
Sure.
again, I'm overpowering this thing, overpowered on this game, these games. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could do that, but it would hurt me not to have this
Right.
in the way that I'm using it. Or in the way that I'm using it, people look at me like you could live with a tin can and a string, like I said before, and you'd be fine. But that's enough talking about my cell phone and my experience. Ed, what is your contribution to the video gaming conversation?
Well, today's contribution is Saints Row.
Saints Row, yes, finally.
Saints Row.
Talk about it.
Boy. Yeah, I can actually talk about it. And boy, after reading some people's reviews
Right?
and seeing some takes, people don't really like it. And okay, so I gave it a pretty good score because I enjoy playing this game.
Yep.
And it's ticking like all the right boxes for me. In fact, right before we started this, I
You
was
were
playing some
finishing up.
more.
Yeah, you were finishing up a mission.
Um, there's just something of like if GTA is like the super serious version of an open world, I don't know, crime drama, I guess you could say.
I
Uh
guess.
Saints Row is like the parody drama to that. Where so some of the reviews that I've seen pop up about this say it's more of the same and they don't like that. I've seen things pop up saying that they preferred 3 and 4, where this one feels more like 1 and 2. And to that I say I don't think they played long enough. Be- because there are unlocks that you get to that are just like kind of silly. Uh and they fit more in that Saints Row 3 and 4 style. Um, I would put this like in between 3 and 4. So like 3 had the best balance of that kind of serious storytelling with corny jokes and just like crazy out there action and weaponry.
Right.
You know, dubstep gun. Like
Yeah, yeah, I forgot about that.
um actually it was dubstep gun. I think that was 3. But you know, it was just a nice mix. 4 leaned a little bit too heavy for me into the, uh, you know, the crazy side because it was all in VR. So now you're basically doing Crackdown in Saints Row, which it wasn't bad, but you kind of lost the sense of okay, I have all these cars in the game. Why do I even need them? I can basically fly.
Yeah.
So there's no point in having it. And like you can get money, but you don't need to go really buy
Is a
anything.
broken economy setup.
Yeah. So, you know, it was just, you know, like I said, it was fun, but I think I enjoyed 3 a little bit better because it did pull back something. Well, not pull back, but it, you know, it did some things where you had to actually earn it. So this new Saints Row is kind of going back towards 3 and a little closer to the 1 and 2 formula. It's just weird how you've got people who enjoy 3 and 4 and they're like this one's not far enough, and you got people who enjoy 1 and 2 and they look at this and be like it's not serious enough.
Hmm.
And it for me it's just like right in the middle. It's perfect. Like there are some things that I wish they would go and fix, and I hope in and update, you know, updated patches that they will address these things. Like the biggest thing that is just odd to me is there's no cover system. And I believe it was either 3 or 4 that introduced the cover system and it worked great. You know, like 4's beginning is a perfect example of that, where you're like in the bank and you're hiding behind cover, shooting enemies and everything. It works fine. Uh, there's no cover system here, so you're basically just a bullet sponge taking bullets and trying to shoot everybody. The other thing regarding the combat that just kind of strikes me as like, oh, why is this not here? Is the limb targeting system. Previous Saints Row, the moment you pull aim down sights, uh, it would aim for the body, and then you just flick your right stick in a direction, whether it was up for the head, left or right for the arms, or I think you could aim down and it would go into your nethers. But that's not in here either. So if you want headshots, you gotta aim ADS,
Mhm.
and then you kind of slowly move your joystick up a little bit. So there's no flicking or anything like that. You just kind of got to be a little more careful with it. It still works. Still a fine, shooting mechanic. Uh, it's not, you know, if you're looking for something that's going to challenge you with the shooting, you're not getting that here. In fact, if you're looking for something that's going to challenge you, just don't even look at this way because this is supposed to be fun, not challenging. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
The driving is really I need to go back and play 3 or 4 and see how the driving felt because I swear the driving felt a little better in those games. Your car feels a little feathery, a little light in here until you hit another car. Then it's like you're a cinder block.
Mm.
So like other cars will go flying, or
So you become
you
a
end up
tank.
hitting, yeah, or you end up hitting the right car and you both are cinder blocks.
Oh, geez.
So it all depends. The driving is, even though it's a little floaty, a little feathery, it's fine. It's fun. Driving around town, I don't feel as if it's hindering my actual, traversing. You can hold down a button to drift, and that's useful. Once you get the hang of how to perform those drifts, you can go flying around the city and you're fine. Dodging in between cars, doing close calls and things like that.
Mhm.
You can even do a hard like 180 type of um not 180 exactly, but like a 90 to 180 type of thing. You can do a hard turn by turning, pulling the handbrake essentially to that you're drifting, and then hitting the brake. So it just like you go from one direction to 90. So if you really need to cut a corner, you can do that and you're fine. But like I said, there's nothing inherently terrible about the driving that I felt because it also is very fitting for how the game's atmosphere is.
Mm.
I feel like the game is very cartoony in its presentation. Like the graphics itself, they're a little more brightly colored than something like a GTA, and things are a little smoother. Animations are a little softer. Uh, Edges on like characters and everything are a little harsher, so it has a little more of a animated vibe. But it's not like Borderlands. It just feels a little more not what's a good word? Like it's not taking itself too seriously,
Right.
and the writing is very Saints Row. There are some voice actors here and there who are like, I'm not sure why you got them. They don't sound great, but they're passable. I'm trying to think of another. The art style itself just it feels fine. I know some people were complaining that it looks like in our Discord chat that I'm in with Scott and Evan. One of the gentlemen in there was saying that it looks like a 360 game. I think it's a harsh assessment.
Yeah, that's
You know,
okay.
they're allowed to have their opinion on what it's all subjective. But playing the game on a PS5 in the I think now I'm actually drawing a blank on whether there is. There's a high fidelity mode and a high graphics mode. Things like that. So I chose the one with the better frame rate, and it looks great. There is some texture pop in here and there for like things off in the distance, but that's to be expected when you have to lower, your graphics down so that you get a nice running smooth game. Um, Not so much on these newer consoles. You should be able to hit those marks, but I digress.
Yeah.
I haven't played in the higher graphic mode yet, but I suspect at 30 frames, uh, that stuff looks a little cleaner. But again, if you're driving around doing all this stuff, shooting people, you're not really looking at the mountain in the distance. You're kind of looking at the guy in front of you. And it just feels fun. Like the thing I come back to the most is that it is fun. Sure, it's not going to have the best uh like I mentioned earlier, not going to have the best combat or
Mhm.
like uh gun toting aim mechanics, but it works well enough where it's just fun to pull ADS and shoot. Driving around, not the greatest with the physics, but still fun to pull the handbrake and drift around corners and get to where you need to go. They even include a side swipe mechanic, kind of pulled from like the Wheelman. If you've ever played that game, that's the one with Vin Diesel starring as the Wheelman,
Oh,
and you press a button and you basically side swipe the car next to you, and they've added that mechanic in here. So if a car pulls up next to you, if you turn in their direction and press the button, you basically, bump them with the side, give them a little extra damage, and it could cause them to go hit something or whatnot. So that's fine. That's fun. Being able to have some sort of, attack for cars that are chasing you or cops or gang members or whatnot.
mhm.
The one thing I think I forgot to mention in my review that I did want to talk about was the music. I don't like it. This is probably my least favorite soundtrack out of all the Saints Rows, and that's including the first Saints Row, which I thought had a pretty bleh soundtrack to begin with. This one just doesn't have anything for me, and I think I recognized maybe one or two songs, and those were on the hip hop stations, and it was just one or two songs out of all of them. So I'm not gonna sit there and listen to
Yeah.
the hip hop station because of that. If I'm listening to music now while driving, it's the classical station, the talk radio station, so that they'll do their talk radio bit and then they go to classical music, just because that's the songs I know. Like the EDM section, the country section, the like I guess it would be the pop and like retro stuff.
Mhm.
They just don't there's nothing iconic in there. So I'm better off just turning the radio off and driving. Now, with all that said, I still gave this game a 4 because I'm just having a blast playing it. There are a ton of side quests to do, a ton of like money earning opportunities. Customization is bonkers detailed with your character, and there's a ton of stuff that you can do to the vehicles in the game. Uh, you can even customize like helicopters to a certain degree. So it just gives you the option to basically be the boss and have your own gang the way you want it.
Right.
So I'll be playing more of this in the weeks to come. I fully expect myself to go through until I basically got all the trophies. I can see that happening. Because again, I'm just enjoying it. It not might not be everybody's cup of tea. I don't think it deserves all the hate it's getting, but uh I like it. I think it is a good uh comeback for the Saints. Do kind of wish that the story at the beginning was a little more paced out well, because it does feel like you're kind of rushed into getting into the open world, and they're trying to make connections to why it's doing it this way. And, it kind of makes sense, but I think it just is too fast. Because once you get onto the open world and then you get to where they want you to be, then everything kind of paces out just fine. You go out and do whatever you want, follow the story, whatever. Uh, and if you go read my review, there's things in there that you'll see that I like, and you'll see there's some things in there that, like I mentioned here, was not the best. And hopefully that'll be updated in a patch or something, like, the cover system, or, some bugs getting fixed here or there, which uh it pulled down a patch today when I got home, and I went and checked to see if the main thing I noticed was fixed, and it wasn't. So I'm wondering if that will be later. But basically, on my PS5 copy, if I want to use adaptive triggers, it inverts the x-axis, which is a really weird one to invert.
Yeah.
So if I go turn that on, it inverts the x. And if I turn x off, it turns, or invert it back, it turns off the adaptive triggers. So I don't know what's going on there. I haven't been able to play with the adaptive triggers because of it, because I'm not going to be doing the X backwards.
Now yours is yours the like a pre-build?
No, well,
Or
I
did
mean,
it get
it was a
updated?
review. It was a review copy, but yeah, it's updated.
Okay, it is updated.
So whatever day one patch that they did, that's on there. But I checked it today after, like I said, after it updated, and it's the same. So I don't know what all was fixed in that. There are a few bugs that I did run into again. So I'm kind of curious what was changed in that patch, if anything. But I'm hearing that people who are on the Xbox seem to be having more performance issues when it comes to like freezing and things like that, or lockups. So I haven't heard anything about the PC players, and people who I've seen play it on PS5 seem to be not having an issue when it comes to locking up. So my recommendation is rent it if you're really concerned about it and you want to try it. Or if you've played previous Saints Rows and let's say you lean closer to 3 and 4, just go play it. You'll enjoy it.
I mean, I'm planning on playing it. I'm getting it from GameFly, so.
Yes, and that'll be fun to actually give the co-op a try, because I wasn't able to do so during the review portion.
We'll hopefully get it soonish. So
But that's all I got.
that's all you got. Well, looks like we'll be sunsetting this conversation.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha. So our topic today is just a general sunsetting paid content.
Yeah, and what brings this up is just today, Bungie has stated that going forward, they won't be sunsetting any of their paid content, which, holy crap, about time. Like, I don't think that is a good idea. I don't think you should be sunsetting or basically locking things in the Disney vault that you've already paid for.
Right.
Like Destiny's or Bungie, their excuse was it was to make the game run smoother. How about no? If you have to get rid of stuff to add new stuff, then you're not doing something right.
Yeah. I never truly believed that as a reason. Like it was one of those like justifications because they felt like it. I don't really know, because like it just never made sense from to me to sunset content, like story content. Like I'm okay.
Yeah.
I get guns. I get pickups and armor.
As long as you didn't pay for them.
Right. As long as you didn't pay for them. Things like of that nature to sunset and to get rid of. But like entire expansions and what went in the expansion too, it's like it just felt like, it felt like they were stealing money.
Well, yeah, because especially in Destiny's case, you buy, let's say, Forsaken, and then a couple months down the line, they got a new thing coming out, or a year's time, and to make room for it, they're going to get rid of the thing you had just bought a year ago.
Right.
So you can't go back and play that content because they've put it behind behind the vault, but you paid for it. So, it's just a bad look, and it's never sat well with me. In fact, I don't think I can think of any other even live service game that is sunsetting content that you paid for.
You know what? I don't think there is. Well, and then I don't do a whole lot of live service games.
Yeah, but I can't think of anything that is it was as bold here as Bungie was in that, oh yeah, that stuff you paid for, you're not gonna be able to play it until we bring it back out.
Right.
Pretty much, you buy something or you pay for something, you're gonna be able to use it.
Yeah, like, and I guess I don't know. I guess a lot of that is like with Destiny, it started off with it was just you bought cosmetics and stuff like that, and then you bought expansions, and then they made these expansions bigger and bigger, and then their
Oh, right.
reasoning was, "Oh, we don't have enough space."
Like, space for what? You're
Yeah,
It's on my console, it's on my PC.
right. It's like, what do you?
I determine the space.
Yeah, what do you? That was the thing I didn't really get was like, it- what space are you? What are you freeing up? Like, how are you freeing up? How are you making it run better and faster and freeing up space that isn't necessarily housed on your server? Unless some
Right.
section or part of it was, which seems weird coding wise, but I'm also not also don't do
Well,
any live.
yeah.
I don't do any coding of live service games, so maybe there is a back end. But um, other, I mean, World of Warcraft doesn't. I don't think they ever sunsetted entire expansions or worlds, did they?
Kind of. So you can still go back and play that stuff. Like,
Right.
they give you a way to do so, but if you're following the main story, then like no. Um if you go in actually it's funny. If you go listen to this week's or last week's, I guess if you do the right dating, last week's quick save, Scott talks about his time in World of Warcraft,
Yes.
which is funny. We were talking about this today. You saw Scott on the Blizzard login because you were downloading the Starcraft thing, and you were like, "Hey, Scott's on. What does he play? He's not playing anything right now." And we were thinking it was probably Call of Duty. Listening to the podcast this week, no, it was World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
He's actually playing World of Warcraft, and you were like, he doesn't play World of
Which is
Warcraft.
funny. I said that, and then probably an hour after you left, I went, "Oh wait, he started World of Warcraft." Because I had listened to the podcast already. I was like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
he did start World of Warcraft."
But yeah, he was saying that you to play some of that older stuff like Cataclysm or um shoot the one before Cataclysm, you had to play World of Warcraft Classic to be able to get in there and do those.
Okay.
So they have, and it's because I think Cataclysm had this whole world changing event that just changed the game up too much that you wouldn't be able to go back to the way it was before. So that's, I guess, part of the reason they brought Classic back is if you wanted to play that content again,
Right.
you have means to do so. But yeah, so like you could technically go
Yeah.
back and play old content.
Right. But they didn't. So I guess that's not really sunsetting it. That's just eliminating it from main story content.
Well,
Whereas,
so when Cataclysm came out, or whichever of the expansions that did that came out,
mhm.
uh, that was it. You couldn't go
Okay,
back
so
to vanilla.
they only recently allowed that
Right.
class. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. WoW Classic was 3-4 years
Well, I
ago, I
mean, I
think.
say recently as like it hadn't been a consistent
No,
thing.
no.
Okay. Well, but I mean, even then, like, I still don't. It just seems so arbitrary and wrong to the consumer to be like, yeah, here's this product that you paid for a year ago, 2 years ago, and oh, by the way, it's not valid anymore. You can't use it. You can't play it.
Right.
I mean, I guess realistically, that's how digital games are in the world. They can tell you when and where you can play your game now, but I don't know. I'm with you. I'm not a fan of sunsetting paid content. I'm not really a fan of sunsetting any major parts of a game, especially like story beats. That always
Yeah,
seems very
no.
weird to me.
It's add to it, don't subtract from it.
Yeah. Well, and like it seemed weird that they sunsetted the whole story of Destiny 2. Like
Well,
the beginning
yeah.
part of it, like the whole Red War.
Oh, yeah. I mean, exactly. It's like uh that game is not what was when I reviewed it. Like you can't go back and what is it? Gaul, I think was the
Yeah. You can't go
yeah.
back and do the whole Gaul thing.
Yeah, so it's like totally gone. It's just so weird to me that you can't play the game as if the story even for when it came out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like are you playing at this point, are you playing Destiny 2 or are you just in the world of Destiny? Cuz you're not. I just always had an issue with Destiny in that I always felt like I missed something.
Oh, I miss.
Oh, I missed. But like I always came in and been like, "Oh, what didn't I see?
Right.
Like what of the story haven't I caught because I was gone for a week?" I just
And
can't
that
play. Yeah, I can't play consistently with that kind of game.
well, and Destiny itself is just hard to keep up with because, well, there's the light levels and then there's the sun setting and then, there's certain tasks that you can't do unless you're in a certain amount of people in your group. So that is one that is very hard to keep up with anyway.
True. I'm actually trying. I'm going back. I'm trying to think. I don't any current games that sunset. I guess Destiny's just following that trend now. Is like, or Bungie's following that trend now. Like, no one else is doing it.
Right.
Well, isn't Halo removing a game mode? The newest one.
Not that I remember. If anything, they're adding co-op here, probably on the next patch. I don't know exactly. It's supposed to be coming this summer, and it is summer, almost autumn. So
Oh yeah, Halo Infinite is already removing new game mode Last Spartan Standing.
okay. So it is that is, if I remember right, that is the same thing as like the what is it, the 10i event stuff.
I guess
They had a specific mode, specific
it's like a battle
um
royale esque mode or something.
playlist. Yeah, whatever that one thing was, like basically a playlist to go earn the samurai armor stuff.
Yeah.
So I believe in this regard, it's the same thing. It's only for the season, and then they'll get rid of it, and then they'll get a lot of push blowback for not keeping it. So then they'll bring it back later on and say, and now it's here to stay.
Oh, so like what they've been doing with
Taco
the
Bell.
Mexican pizza and apparently what is that, the Choco ice cream?
Oh, Choco
Taco, that thing?
Well, I don't know if they're going to bring that back or not. They probably will, but right now that is a canceled item.
Basically cause demand for something that really didn't have a whole lot of demand.
Yeah. You build up that social media awareness because it's leaving.
But it brings that any news is good news, or any press is good press. So just by doing something kind of outrageous of removing something, it gives press, and then you can
Right.
bring it back later and be like, "Oh, we learned the error of our ways and bringing it back for the
We
consumer."
we listen to your concerns and we're bringing it back.
Well, they kind of did that with Destiny, didn't they? Actually, a little while ago, they were sunsetting weapons, like a
Yeah.
lot of weapons, And then after they sunsetted a bunch of them, they went, you know what? Actually, we're not going to. But it's like, well, you already made these other ones useless. So everyone had already changed to, well, not everyone. A lot of people had already changed to newer weapons. So now you've said, well, you're not going to keep doing it. They don't use the other weapons. Like you've forced a change, almost kind of like Facebook, where they said you had to have a Facebook account to play the Oculus, and then they went, well, not anymore. It's like, well, everyone already has the Oculus has a Facebook account now. So
yeah,
that was obviously a plan. But that's our shtick about sunsetting paid content. I don't think it's a good look for any company, and I'm glad that Destiny is finally getting out of that little rut there. So thank you for joining us today. If you haven't, subscribe to the dotEXE podcast. And did you enjoy today's discussion? Let us know. Comments, questions, topics, and corrections can be sent to .exe@savingcontent.com. We will read them, and we might comment and talk about it on the podcast. Who knows?
Read them on the air.
Yeah.
So if you got questions, if you want to rank your favorite things and get the ranking absolutely correct, let's do it.
Yeah, that's us. We got that. We got 100% every time, all the time, correct rankings. That's what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our accuracy is bar none.
Pinpoint. Almost like a hot fire fish. Leave a comment. Leave a comment to
hot fish.
Hot fish. Hot fish? Hot fire fish. Bit hot fire.
Hot fire fish. Hot fire fish, and I'll insert that here, which I'm still not going to do.
Boop, boop, boop. Leave a comment to Saving Content on Twitter and Facebook. Also, you know that Saving Content is also on YouTube, so subscribe for video previews, reviews, trailers, and original content like this here podcast.exe. Are you looking for more gaming discussions? As we've said before, check out Saving Content's Quick Save podcast with Evan and Scott. They actually just did a Quick Save Bites. They're doing their
God of War Game Club.
That's what it's, Game Club. I was thinking book club. I'm like, what did they call it again? Yep, God of War Game Club. It was fun. I've played the game. So listening to Evan and Scott kind of start into it again, or Scott into it again, Evan at first time. Or backwards.
Yeah,
it was backwards. Sorry. It was nifty to hear their takes on some things. I like it. It's worth listening. I think it's fun little side podcast there.
Yeah. I meant to follow along since I still have yet to complete that God of War game. I might play and catch up with him for the next one, but I got Saints Row, and that's what I'm really eager to play.
Remember to also visit savingcontent.com for the latest news and reviews. Ed, what do we have going up or already up?
What we have up this week, it was busy. So not only did my Saints Row review go up, which you should go and give that a read, but a special guest friend of the show, Genevieve, she has her review for video game Fables up.
Yes.
So also she enjoyed that game. Go give that a read. And let's see, Scott did a few reviews last week into today. He reviewed Spider-Man on the PC, the Rocat K1 or Cone XP Air review. It's a mouse.
Oh, so that's a mouse, right?
And yeah, that's one of the mice that has like the ventilation on the top so that it can breathe.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then he also, was it Curse the Gold? I am actually drawing a blank on what this thing is called. I just wrote it down too. It is, let's see, Curse the Golf. I just wrote it wrong. It's a arcade focused golf game. So if that's your cup of tea, go give that review a read and see if it's gonna actually fit your playstyle.
Excellent. Before we go, we ask one tiny favor: 5-star review. Again, you can kind of really do whatever you want, but 5 stars is going to really help us. You can even do that right here in your podcast apps. Finally, don't forget to tell your friends about us here at dotEXE. It'll help us grow, and we truly would really appreciate it. Have fun, talking. Let more people hear our voices.
Of course.
Thank you for listening, and remember, the most wasted of days is one without laughter. Good night.
I spit hot fish.
Spit hot fish.
So dumb.